Bang! A gunshot. One thing we never want to hear in a school. Good evening, my name is Ricardo Alvarado, and today I shall try and persuade you on the idea of arming K-12 teachers. So now, while I'm doing this, I shall explain to you some of the situations that have already occurred and some of the states that have already had this regulation in effect. So now, according to American Federation of Teachers, we need solutions to keep guns out of the hands of people that want to massacre the innocent, as this was a response to 2 months after the Florida school shooting that left 17 dead. But as Republicans and legislators across the country race to install 25 measures to arm teachers and staff members of schools, as Trump and NRA call it a last line defense against school shooters, as this was also a response days after the February 14th attack on Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. But as I explained to you, the next situation is that we can all forget this one is the second most deadly school shooting in American history, the Sandy Hook shooting, which occurred on December 14th, 2012, where a 20-year-old Adam Lanza drove to Sandy Hook Elementary, shot 26 people, 20 of which were children under the ages of 7 and 6, 5 people, staff members and teachers, and drove home to his house and killed him and his mother in an attempt of suicide. So now next, as recent school shootings have renewed the conversation of whether we should arm K-12 teachers, as people are weighing the benefits and dangers, as it could disrupt the educational atmosphere, even when the intention is to install increased security. As now, I will read a statement from Mr. Jose De Hoyos from Castem High School, who I've interviewed. Mr. De Hoyos states that it is an idiotic idea to arm a high school teacher or K-12 teacher, because the responsibility of having a gun there in the class not only puts the stress on the teacher of holding one's life in one's hand, but also the stress of that he needs to keep an eye on that weapon 24/7. As he is stating that the stress of having the gun in the class is more enough than having the responsibility of having to shoot the suspect such a situation should arise. But I myself have a question for legislators and Republicans that have this regulation in place. Would campus police be less of a need or more of a need, just to keep an eye on the teachers? But as Donald Trump states, a teacher would have shot the hell out of the suspect before he even knew what happened. Now, as he responds to the Stoneman Douglas shooting, he introduced this gun carrying regulation to the following states: Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Louisiana, Washington, and Minnesota, as each teacher would go through training and a psychological evaluation. And as I would now read from a statement from Miss Bojo of Castem High School. Ms. Bojo states as, yes, I believe school personnel should have the ability to conceal carry, provided the following, as they should actually participate in proper and extensive training before getting the license to carry and conceal. But the perfect personnel for this would be former military or law enforcement, as others should go through more training as they've had less experience. As now school personnel are inappropriate fit to carry for the school he or she works in, as inappropriate laws are enforced and followed, as now regulations probably in Texas might have to be changed, or some things in schools might have to be changed as well. So now, if we can arm and protect our money, politician, and etc., we should do the same for our children. Now, if those of you watching here, I challenge you, go to your campus, go to your administrator or principal, ask them how this would affect them, or if you can, bring up another solution. I think they would be happy to hear a solution coming from a student. So now, I hope that if you didn't agree with me, now you do. And if you still don't, I'm sorry if I wasn't compelling enough. Thank you for listening, and good night.